Hi, my name is Sarah, and I work with the Swanee River Regional Library System. Due to the current coronavirus pandemic, we had to cancel our monthly book club meeting, and we will be discussing it today virtually. The book for this month is A Million Fragile Bones by Connie Mae Fowler. And before we get into discussing it, I'm going to share with you a little bit of background from the author. Connie Mae Fowler is a best-selling storyteller who believes in the transformative power of language. Speak or write the words down, and the world becomes a clearer place, she says. Sometimes it even changes the world. In her fiction, she explores the effects of poverty, child abuse, and domestic violence, the lush landscape of her native Florida, the conflict between traditional cultures and the modern world, and the universal human need for relationships. Fowler draws upon her own family's long history of struggle and tragedy to produce affecting and unvarnished stories. Born in North Carolina and raised in St. Augustine, Florida, she was the child of two alcoholics. She was 6 when her father died suddenly of a heart attack, leaving Fowler and her sister with their physically and emotionally abusive mother. Despite extreme poverty and abuse, Fowler was an excellent student and earned a scholarship to the University of Tampa. In Fowler's freshman year, her mother died of cirrhosis, a devastating loss despite their difficult relationship. Writing became a kind of salvation, a way to make sense of her past hardships and turn them into something positive and productive. In her latest book, which we will discuss today, A Million Fragile Bones, an environmental memoir that explores her struggle to survive amid the BP Gulf oil spill, Fowler draws a through line from the loss of her father to her love of nature, writing, "The first great loss was the death of my father when I was 6. And in the writing of this book, I realized that over half a century into my life, I am still searching for him. My method? Immerse myself in nature because my fondest childhood memories, those untainted by violence, arise from his love of the natural world. It's as if I'm trying to provide what eluded him in life, a happy home filled with found objects that, by their very existence, signal we are part of something larger than ourselves. We are seashells, we are feathers, we are bones, we are what cannot be named." Now we are going to discuss the review for A Million Fragile Bones. On April 20th, 2010, the Deepwater Horizon, a BP-operated oil rig, exploded in the Gulf of Mexico. 11 men died in the explosion. Before the well was capped, it spewed an estimated 4.9 million gallons of oil into the Gulf. This spill directly impacted 68,000 miles of ocean, and oil washed ashore along the coast of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, and Florida. Connie Mae Fowler began that day as she had begun most days for the previous 16 years, immersed in the natural world that was her home on Alligator Point on Florida's Gulf Coast, surrounded by dunes and waterbirds, watching dolphins swim in the distance. Then began the nightmare from which she would not emerge for more than a year. In her memoir, A Million Fragile Bones, she details the beauty and peace she found on Alligator Point after years of heartbreak and loss, and the devastation and upheaval that followed the oil spill. It is, at its heart, a love song to the natural world and a cry of anger and grief at its ruin for the sake of corporate profits. Connie Mae Fowler's environmental memoir, A Million Fragile Bones, does not promise to make you fall in love and then break your heart, but it does both. Set on Alligator Point, a tiny sandbar on Florida's natural Gulf Coast, the memoir is a chronicle of Fowler's life against the backdrop of the 2010 Deepwater Horizon explosion and its aftermath. Its opening chapters, however, exist in the time before the spill, as Fowler works through the effects of her abusive childhood and the loss of her father. She heals herself, or more aptly, would insist that Alligator Point healed her, by engaging in a total immersion in the surrounding natural world. Her days are marked by life in and around her self-designated shack on the point, by the tides, the weather, the migration patterns of monarchs, the movement of sand and sea creatures. This book is sure to put a smile on your face by the way that Connie Mae Fowler writes. She is very descriptive. At the beginning of the book, she makes it clear that this book was something very important to her. And If you have read this book, or if you are going to read this book, we would love to hear what your thoughts are. What was the purpose for this book, and how did it make you feel after reading it? Did you learn anything from it? Is it a book that you would recommend to people? We would love to hear what you have to say about this book, and we hope that you join us for our next book review. But in the meantime, stay safe and don't forget to wash your hands. Thanks for watching.